Hey everybody, Asher here, and welcome back to more Roadwarden. Wow, that was really hard to say. Where we are mostly dead, which means that we are somewhat alive. We cannot use our axing questions because things are a little bit too exhausting here because last time we did travel into somewhere that's not even on the map. So we will probably be taking a day of rest and burning a day just to try to recover our vitality a little bit. But for now, the way is clear, for the path before us is true and certain. It's time to go spelunking. We have a lantern, we're going to go inside. You place a candle on the ground and light it up with a few sparks from your tinderbox. You shove it inside the lantern through the hole in the top, pressing it into a nail. You shake it for a bit, making sure it'll stay. The candle isn't as bright as your torch, but it's safer. Will last longer and can be easily replaced by another one. All very important. So finally, we are in the cave, and hopefully nothing's going to jump out and kill us because we're ugly, we're unarmored, and there's probably something I needed when I took on the Howlers last time that I did not have. So, the road ahead of you looks like the one you just crossed, human carved, straight corridor, supported with beams while other paths are curved and narrow. The only light comes from the exit, minutes away from here, so we've already walked a few minutes into the cave. That's honestly pretty far. We stopped to look around. The remains of prey and fruit are rotting, but getting sparser the deeper you enter the tunnel. The moist walls are shining as if they're made of an ore unknown to human tribes. You observe the dried trails. The ones left by boots lead towards both corridors. Path to your right also marks left by hooves and wheels. Some of the fresher trails leading deeper into the tunnel resemble human souls, but deformed, lacking skin between their toes. Well, so going forward might be scary. Let's look left first. Oh, it's nice that this just lights up here. The air in the chamber is humid, the straw beds are covered with mold, the sagging racks of bending under their own weight, and the animal pelts on the floor release a terrible stench. So, we have some options here. Let's search the room carefully because we got 5 hours till dusk. We can always come back and do this another day here. Oh, good. Upon using an old walking stick, you push the furs and mattresses aside, stank and all, and you spare your gloves from touching the sticky odds and ends by wrapping them with a cloth. You find only one thing of value, hidden in a rare dry bowl pushed to the side of the shelf, a tiny ring made of bone. Not a coin, but a piece of jewelry, still elegant with a distinguished carving of a fish on its top and scales on its side. Well, that sounds like it comes from not creeks, but the fishing village up north. So let's leave the chamber. We found a treasure. So that's a sleeping chamber. Let's turn to the right this time. All right, the corridor is unlike the others, taller and more rounded, with claw marks on the walls. It leads you to a chamber with the ceiling supported by a single beam, and there's an abandoned cart, the fence of an animal pen, and a few long sticks and planks. You make a glance next to the new exit, and it leads slightly upward and looks a bit like stairs. Well, obviously here, we're still doing good on time. Let's go ahead and search the room. Find no caches or boxes, and the cart is empty. The one thing that draws your attention are the planks and logs themselves. They're in decent shape, flexible, though too moist to be worth carrying out of the cave. They could be turned into a new door, or maybe a table. Let's climb up the stairs. Oh, well, that looks like a dead body there. Let's see. You flinch after light touches a resting bone, but nothing tries to jump at you, and you hear no shuffling feet. You step forward and take a closer look at the remains of the massive creature. It used to be 2 times as long as your palfrey. 3 if you were to count its hind limbs. It resembles a bear, but its skull has no sharp teeth and is of a different shape. So let's look at the skeleton. The ribs of the creature, as we get nice dripping water sounds, the ribs of the creature are as long as your own trunk, though the age makes them brittle. You observe the long legs, horse-like head, and massive stomach. You can't tell if you've ever seen such a beast alive, but surely it's not trophies. Surely not as trophies. A part that's uniquely sharp is the creature's claws. They could pierce 2 sides of your skull at once, as curved as a war pick and as heavy as an axe, and the marks on the walls perfectly match them. While impressive, they're too old and awkward to be turned into tools. So apparently nothing like there. So we can go back to large skeleton or leave the chamber. We are back in the hall. We got 4:15 left. Move a little further forward. You forge ahead for another few long minutes, no longer able to see the light from the exit. You need to stand on someone's shoulders to touch the ceiling. So far, you could ride through the tunnel without getting out of the saddle. The sound of the stream is reaching you from ahead. This time, there are no side paths. This reminds me of the Dawn of the Mexica. I don't know if any of y'all watched that series can remember. It was in a cave with a river that just appeared out of nowhere That was the last death that I had in it. Hopefully we don't have an army of axolotls trying to kill me here in a second. So we can examine the tunnel, we can head back to the crossroads, or we can move forward. This feels like a very old school text-based game today. You spend a few minutes walking back and forth. Here, the wooden support is denser with more beams both on the walls and the ceiling. The trash, on the other hand, is sparse and you find nothing of use. The animal trails turn back to the entrance with the exception of the human-like bony prints. Well, do we keep walking towards the human-like bony prints? You bet your butt we do. The stream has found a wide pond. You stab in a few spots, but it turns out to be only a finger or two deep. There's no signs of a bridge. Let's take a closer look at the water. It's clean, but the dark rocks and the lack of light camouflage is soft, sand-like bed. You find a few fish bones and other remains, but every step you disturb the sediment, further clouding the water. The water flows from your right to left. Its trail is wide enough to follow, and at least a few steps, so tall that you can do without crouching. So we can follow the water, we can move forward, or we can go the exit. Let's follow the water first. Oh, we got a cave ear mushroom apparently here. The corridors become less spacious after just a few steps, but you manage to take a good look around, moving both with and against the flow. The wet walls are homes to worms, mold, and what looks like pale spiders, though with only 6 legs. Is that really a spider then? Among the commotion, you spot a cave ear sticking out of the wall, a familiar though unfriendly mushroom, the creamy color distorted by your light. I bet I can think of 3 different people that would like a cave ear mushroom. Let's look at the inventory real quick. A poisonous mushroom that grows in moist caves is often used as an ingredient of various combat-enhancing substances. You grab your knife and cut away. It seems like the least bug-infested chunk, and after wrapping it with a linen sheet, you wash your hands. The cave ear is used by some fighters to enhance their senses in combat. You may want to take it to an alchemist. Okay, we got to watch the clock here. Let's go ahead and move forward again. The open door to your right leads to a narrow corridor. You take a look further down the tunnel. A cave-in broke the timber, blocking the path forward. So we're now at 3:30 here. So we can return to the stream, go back here. There's a cave-in. Let's take a closer look. You push away a few rocks, making them roll on the floor, but the blockade is at least a few steps deep. It would take an entire team of diggers to get through, if that's at all possible. Wonder if we could convince some people to dig out this tunnel. You climb a bit and peek through the larger holes close to the ceiling, and there's a weak light coming from the distant end of the tunnel. So apparently there is an end out here at some point. So we have a door, we have a stream. We can't do anything else with the cave-in. Walk to the door. It squeaks! The corridor resembles the interiors of a fortress with flat, regular walls, and a ceiling so low you couldn't ride through it. Hey, you know what? Is this just a dwarf fortress map? Isn't that coming out in December? I think it is. You reach another much larger chamber, which seems to mimic the corridor style, which we enter. The spoiled food and moldy planks make you hold your breath. The chamber used to serve as a dining spot with tables, chairs, shelves, and for mugs, and barrels for drinks, but that's all that's left are worms and mustiness. You don't see the furthest wall until you bring your light closer. The open door leads to a new natural cavern, another closed door in the corner of the room, opposite of the one you came in. So we have some options here. Let's search the chamber first. Oh, small iron key, nice. The place was abandoned in haste, but you find no signs of large creatures, bones, or destruction. The wood gives way only to time. A few of the barrels still contain liquids, though you wouldn't dare open them. Close to the exit leading the cave, you find a hook with a simple iron key. You pick it up, and it stains your hand with rust. Nice. So let's try to open the door in the corner. Oh, that worked. The door gives way. The next room is also too large for your light to reach the corners at once. This is interesting because we have these suddenly organized places versus these cavernous places here. The empty shelves, chests, and spear racks give you no promise of hidden treasure, but you also find a box with rusty nails, a cracked barrel in a corner, and a broken blade. You could spend some time collecting these and other iron scraps and sell them to a village. That sounds like a great idea. In the room's corner, you notice a wide sheet of moldy fabric that covers a large part of the wall. Well, let's get the metal scraps first because metal is incredibly valuable. We're at 2:30 here. I think I'm going to turn back at 2 hours. And just to make sure that we can get out in time and we can get somewhere in time because I need to rest, and depending on what's in my inventory, I have a little bit of money. I might be able to get my armor repaired as well. Having no useful tools at hand, you dismantle the barrel and cut away bits of wood that are attached to pieces of iron and steel. After a long while, you prepare a decent clanging sack. For now, you move it to the dining chamber and leave it by the exit. All right, and does that mean it's in our inventory? Iron scraps. Could build an Iron Man suit. So examine the curtain. It's divided in the center, allowing you to draw it. Behind it, you find a tiny room. Oh, wow, secret chamber. Maybe 2 steps wide and 3 steps deep. It's silent, not as humid. The wall head isn't like the others. It's covered with red and purple bricks. So that's probably like another secret. Look for anything unusual. Oh, fascinating. The walls on your left or right bear a few iron hooks that could be used to hang cloaks, paintings, or trophies. The corners aren't too dusty, and there are no footprints on the floor. You inspect the brick wall further. In its center, at chest height, you spot a distinctive engraving. It's a winged hourglass about a finger long. So we don't have a winged hourglass we can use here. We don't have any tools that we can use here. So, mental note for later. Let's leave the room. Let's leave the room. So we're at 2:15 now. There is another place that I can go to here. I'm just going to go back to Sodal. I think I gotta not risk the biscuit here. Sodal welcomes you with a knicker. Well, that's very nice. 2 hours left. We can seek shelter here. What can we reach in time? We can reach Foggy Lake or we can reach Creeks, but we'd have to sleep in Foggy Lake. Or we could get to Gale Rocks. A lot of these places do need iron. We can't get to Howler's Dell before nightfall. So I think we may want to try to, like, do some stuff here. Let's go ahead and go back to Foggy Lake first, because that's close. Alright, and it is just about dusk now. There's a hint of a strange stench and fresh claw marks left on the ground. A large Certain intern left the yard through the lake. The foragers are inspecting the boat, taking a look around, so the foragers are preparing for the night. We go inside. There's a pleasant scent of chamomile coming from the unusually clean cauldron. Foggy looks at you through the hole leading to the attic. She gets down, having only one arm, doesn't seem to hinder her. She welcomes you with a gentle nod. So, let's see here. If I need to buy something... Ooh, we have 0 meals left. And we could buy some iron scraps as well. So let's pay 1 coin for that. So we do definitely want 4 meals. She doesn't want to tell us about Asterion or give me another job. And if I remember right, asking questions about the peninsula gives us a blank prompt that we don't really know very well here. So we don't have anything she wants to buy. Interesting. Okay. So we're not specifically hungry right now. So let's turn in early. Let's sleep. So we can get 1 vitality back if we sleep in the attic. So that's what we're going to do. So it's nighttime again. The rain once again hits the ground, interrupting your sleep. Another day of muddy roads. Which the days are getting shorter, and the inability to travel hurts too. You lose your senses right after you lie down. In the middle of the warm, stuffy night, you are entangled by your dreams, too tired to fully wake up, too accustomed to having a mid-sleep break to just get back to sleep. You are between the realms, surrounded by visions so vivid you are tempted to reach out, touch them, and stretch them out. They are your playground. So we have some options here, and these are significant for the game progression as far as I know. So we're not just going to pick a random one. Once I realize I'm empowered, I do my best to enjoy myself, fly, defeat dragons, eat, drink, whatever I want. I wouldn't dare disturb the natural flow of dreams. I accept them as they are. No matter how much I try, my nightmares interfere, even with the most joyful dreams. Wake up sweating and grasping for air. Or I try to break free of the state, thinking of things I did or was meant to do tonight. Well, Kira is definitely someone who's going to enjoy some lucid dreaming. Alright, so... Listening to the grunts, the annoyed subtle makes you feel uneasy, but at least the furs covering the floor make you feel better. So it's time for me to go. I mean, let's see what happens if I were to rest. That'll give us some more vitality. We can use forced. I can use forced. I can't talk. Yeah, I know we are on a limited time frame here, but I'd feel better with 2 vitality. No armor either. Can we get down to Howler's Dell? I know we can't get through the rock slide, and there's not too much over here. You know, we were supposed to do something over here as well. Let's look at our our journal real quick because we have so many quests. Alright, so we have the Necromancer. We have the tablet that we awkwardly sold. We still have the ruined village to explore. Somebody wants a spirit rock and people don't really like that idea. Theus wants me to spy for her, but I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. The altar in the swamps. Check on Old Pagos. I collect a reward. I brought back the medicament and got my rewards, so those are completed. We haven't learned about Glossia's band. Quintus wants 6 rations so I can go. We haven't done anything about the fallen tree. There's the eastern path, the closed tunnel. A hunting village far north has some issues maintaining the roads. The roads that connect Foggy Lake with both the western crossroads and the eastern crossroads. Interesting. Bird hunting. Leave no sooner than on day 10, so I should be with them as early as I can. Someday before afternoon while the bird's still around. What day are we on now? Day 7. Let's see if we can... This feels like a weird use of the day, but... Because I have the cave that I still want to explore, but I feel like I need to repair some of my stuff first, and we have iron scraps as well. We'll kind of see who wants to buy them. We have the old gate here, and we have the abandoned watchtower over here. These are both things that I can get to. Alright. Alright. Okay, we need to leave to do that. Alright. So let's travel down here. And see, it's a rainy day already, so we're having some problem here. Head to the stables. Here's a coin because everything is expensive here. See, we can't give our services to the guards. The druids won't see me. Let's head to buying the tailor. And let's look at those fancy clothes. Jesus, that's expensive. Gabson needs work. Alright, so... Here, my price is in an hour for 3 dragon rings. I'll turn this rag into armor. You want to pay less? Bring it in better shape. And if you want to properly patch up, you need 2 rings more. To get a truly stronger... For longer, I need some better materials like spider silk. Tell me about the spider silk. This is silk made by spiders. For the large ones, they use it to spin webs. It's stronger than thread, but my neighbors do not want to walk the woods no more. It's getting harder and harder to get any silk. So, repairs for 3. Like washing for 1. We might be able to do that. Let's go to the main square here. So the trader may want my iron scraps. I feel bad about selling my scraps here, but... We have a bone ring here. 1 dragon for it. We're not going to do that. Goods for sale. Okay, goods to buy. No. Iron scraps. 6 rings. You won't get more than 6 rings for that. Our one right away from getting trashed. See, that one's already rusty. That's fine. Because we really need to... We really need to repair our armor here, so... Oh, we can pay 2 more for plus 1 more. And I can also repair my outfit. Or 20 crowns for that. So let's see what's in our inventory now. We have an arrow, an old blanket, a caviar. We need to find an alchemist for it, a bone ring, a horse... So we have Ruined Village in the southeastern. I need to collect my fish traps. Alright. Halfway through the day, let's travel. Oh, there is a place we can go down here. Let's go down here first. The shapes of the mountains are cutting through the horizon. The water gets gradually less money. The cleaner it gets, the more animals you see. A family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water, which would be deadly for a human stomach. You consider riding around them through the sparse meadow, but your presence also causes them disquiet. Without much haste, they regroup and run east into the leafy forest. So animals that aren't trying to kill me. You've reached Hag Hills, the walls of stones that block the city's grasp. The one well-established route through them leads through the valley where you found Tullia's camp. There are no maps of the highlands, nor local tribes, only stories. The beaten path leads you to the garden beds and herbs and vegetables of an old yet not abandoned mine, hidden behind a massive door made of steel. I look around. There's no hitching rail for a mount. A bearded, skinny elder sits on a bench observing you like a sculpture, with his legs crossed and fingers interlocked on his abdomen. So we could be friendly, we could be playful, it could be distance, it could be aggressive. Let's try to be friendly. Good day to you. Don't worry about my horse. I'll keep it away from the garden. Only worms too stupid to understand me would eat what's mine. You dismount and mention your palfrey is no worm, but the man reprimands you with a thick accent. Let me see you whilst you speak. I cannot hear without magic, but I can read your lips. He doesn't yell, but his voice reminds you of a combat instructor from the city. His face is wrinkled, but he sits straight, with beard and hair still carrying glimpses of fair blonde. He's tanned like a worker, and his eyes are blue and piercing, as if they belong to an infant. You're not from here, and when I now welcome a stranger in this refuge, say what you're looking for and be gone. So we explain who I am. What do we call him? I don't want to call him old man. That seems terrible. So let's call him elder. He stares off across the garden beds, forcing you to wait in silence. The elder is tall, with long hair and beard that let loose a long time ago. His sandals are covered in dust, and you spot dirt on his clothes and skin. The wooden tunic and linen were made with care and decorated with colorful threads at the collar and sleeve. Now all the blues and greens have faded, and the fabric is held together by patches and stitches. His hands were still folded. His voice remains firm. You do not know our customs, your name, your trade. Your calling mean nothing to the forest. I do not know what you expected to find here, but this is not a place for strangers. So I wait for him to look at me. The man stands up and approaches your palfrey. Without touching it, he observes his eyes, mane, stomach, and rear. Soto ignores this examination. My nose was right then. A staring is dead, as are his plans. Such is the fate of all dreamers. Now, that's a big drop. He turns towards you with a grim look. Are you going to look for him? You nod. Why, if he's vanished into the fogs, there's not a point to put yourself in danger. What do you expect to find? So we have all these things. Probably the best answer is here is I need to know what kind of danger he encountered. He's observing you carefully. Do you plan to get rid of the danger, maybe learn from Asterian's mistakes, or are you simply thinking about leaving this land for good? He starts to chuckle. Only the right question will bring you the answers. With lively steps, he heads towards the spring. He washes his hands once again, forcing you to wait. Oh man, we could diss old people. He tries to dictate the pace of the conversation and put me in place. Wow, that's a lot of options here. His voice is cold and confident. So what do you need? So I know how I should have addressed you. I want to fix my mistake. That's actually not true. I bring news from old Pagos. A plague has fallen about it. So we've done a lot of game already for, I guess we were expected to visit this guy way earlier. News from old Pagos, a plague's fallen upon it. His eyes widen. What did you say, a plague? You tell him everything you've heard about the symptoms. He attentively observes your lips and sometimes asks you to clarify some details, though you usually don't know how to answer him. He finally nods, then turns away and approaches the garden beds. Lost in thoughts, you wait in silence. He speaks after a short break. There's nothing I can do. His words are trembling. You'll have blood on your hands, or he's pissing me off, and that's it? Well, okay, this is fun, because I don't necessarily know whether he's a druid or not, and we're jumping to conclusions here. Is there anything I can do? He strokes his beard and examines your equipment. There may be. You can help me cast a spell of great power, but it'll take much. Would you not dare? And even if you'd have to give up a grand reward, 'tis a quest for a hero and not a messenger. And there are no heroes. So tell me what I need to do, and I'll decide what to do later on. So healing the plague. Oh, there's actually a path out of here. Before you finish, he turns away from you and looks at the falling water. Then listen. Help me awaken Beholder, the good totem of the swamp. You're already past its altar on the crossroads north of here. I guess he's talking about the tree? Yeah, Beholder. It needs to be fed and only feast on spirits, the pneuma held in human blood, the magic locked in items. Offer them, and it will answer your call. But 'tis a hungry thing, and it will be nurtured. It'll not be nurtured by a single gift. Who knows how much it wants? He carries on without pausing, as if he's speaking from memory. But let it grow, and it will reward you. Take its holy seed and bring it back to me, and I enter the village in through the totem's power. I'll replenish my strength and keep the pneuma before it leaves the lungs of humans. He stands in the same spot after a few breaths and looks back at you. So, offer magic. Tell me more about the seed. It sounds like you're trying to push me into some dark magic. Do you have anything I could give to the altar, or what'll I get in return? Now remember, my goal here is to move to this place and make it a better place. So we're not necessarily going to be we're going to kind of try to do the hero thing here. When you deliver the seed to me, we'll leave, and we'll need time to get to Old Pagos and back. 'Tis a long road for a shell of my ears, but the totem's gift will keep me strong. Tell me more about the seed. His voice becomes confident and solemn. Beholder bears but one fruit a year, and only if its hunger is satisfied. The heart of this fruit, its seed, holds a great power of youth, strength, and magic. Therefore, when the winter ends, the people of Howlersdale gather at its feet and give away the pneuma held in their blood and wow, so it's a blood sacrifice. 'Tis a sacrifice that would kill a single soul, but when shared by many, 'tis but a sign of acceptance, an act of overcoming pain. Do you have anything you need to give me? I have no reason to believe your words. If you help these people, I'll admit I was wrong. But I will not give you anything. I know everything I need, if you say so. If you say so. So I don't have the Beholder seed. Have you met Asterion? He wanders among the gardens from time to time, touching leaves in his hand. He was here more than once. He was not one to stand aside and let the events play out by themselves. Villagers from the north are sometimes in need of assistance, and Asterion was serving as their messenger. He bends down and tears away a small flowerless plant. He wanted to settle down among these roads, maybe to live freely. He had great plans and wanted to make the realm flourish. Oh, it sounds familiar. To rebuild the ruins, to get rid of the brigands, and to clear the trade route. I told him that the forest needs 9 more people, and this realm is too wild to feed and clothe everyone. His greed and dreams have eaten him, and now he is no more. He pauses. You can hear his heavy breathing. As if he's getting tired, he straightens up. And that's that, traveler. If you want to look for a shell, travel north, far north. People there should know where he is, so far north. That would be like the pier in Gale Rocks, right? Maybe the old tunnel. All right. So can you tell me about Phoebe, Phaetos' daughter? Is he oh wow, so he knows him already. Is he still trying to get a spirit rock? After you nod, he closes his eyes slowly, and the gentle breeze shakes his beard. Asterion mentioned the man's anger and denial, the pride in his efforts, but also the pain, as he cannot accept his daughter as the spirits have shaped her. He opens his eyes, leads you to the main path, and looks northwest in very distant mountains. Beyond Old Pagos, you'll find the monastery with its respectable monks and their haunting temple. Speak to them with not anger, but also not foolery. Maybe Photios will listen to the right's followers. So, let's see about some of this other stuff here. What can you tell me about this place? Your eyes see what there is to know. People found copper in a cave. It's been abandoned for a long time, so we turned it into a shelter to stay close to the sacred tree and its altar. We're servants, my wife and I, and this place is nothing more than a servant's house. How do you survive? His raised voice makes him sound like a preacher. One day, me and my wife will be defenseless old people, but we've studied pneuma and leaves for many decades, heal wounds and illnesses of humans and animals alike. And the beasts listen to our whispers. The holy seed lets our shells wait for death and strength. What can you tell me about the peninsula? Can? I've lived here for almost a century, traveled both by the path and through the wilderness. His voice becomes stronger and makes you think of a bard. But I will not be your guide nor teacher, even if there's anything I can wish for. 'Tis that you will stay away from the woods. The creatures get angrier the more we take from them. They do not listen to our warnings, and one day they'll bury us under a storm of claws and fangs. There will be not a soul or spear to tear after us. His eyes are as harsh as a hawk's, making him look like a priest who hears a child asking for honey on a day of ceremonial fasting. Do not poke the hornet's nest, do not ride east, and never use the path that runs through the heart of this land. That road was meant to save time, but brings only death. Be a servant, not an observer. Do not try to bend this place to your will. He points to you and wags his finger after every word. Your will or anyone else's is the key to danger, not salvation. Well, I was just thinking about trying this path from one way or the other. I need some rations to open a gate from this side. Well, I mean, I need to take some risks to achieve my goals. Okay. Anything about bandits? He strokes his beard, then grasps it nervously. There are souls who steal from White Marshes, the village to the north. They would not dare show up here, but those brigands are brute simpletons. Even their leader, Glaucia, listens to only force, and will humiliate for enjoyment of her band. She will not be afraid of some lost Roadwarden. He lets go of his beard and lowers his head. She's drifted so far away from her old self, a kind, bright girl from Gale Rocks. Loved by her parents, but now do not cross her or she'll find you. So what about the altar and the crossroads to the north? He smiles. 'Tis a tree that you should pay attention to. The true gift of the forest that answers only to our offerings and rewards us with magnificent fruits. They heal both shell and soul and make anyone who eats them stronger than they ever were. We gather around this altar whenever winter ends, and whilst it requires a painful sacrifice of all of us, it prepares one soul for the future like nothing else could. Alright, what about the village to the east? And I'm not willing to tell you that. The shameful tale ought to be kept in the past, but the sake of the living. Okay, tell me about the druids. He strokes his beard gently. I will not share our path with strangers. We are the people of Howler's Dell, and for the lands around it. So path is dangerous. And we get update for the ruined village. Interesting. It has a long, dark past, and already caught many souls of its builders. 'Tis paved with blood, and the last 10 years have revealed it was all for nothing. Since the days of... He glances at you once again, surprising you with how shiny and lively the blueness of his eyes is. Of grand discord. The tribes of this land are locking themselves in their fields and houses, too afraid to leave behind, too untrusting to meet other souls unguarded. 'Tis not the first road to be claimed back by the wilderness, and will be the last. You ask if he has any tips for how you'd survive such a trip, and he tells you that it would be wiser to just avoid it. Then he reaches to his pocket, grabs the leaf, and puts it in his mouth, chewing gently. Death may take many paths to a stranger, but cats are the one enemy that's both dangerous in its stealth as in its combat. No human can fight it alone. If you see one of them, then it's too late. Okay, I have 3 cats in the house. That's especially exciting. Do not provoke it, make it wary, but do not be scared. Look big, talk a lot. See its action in its eyes. Okay, any hunters from creeks recently? Here, in the opposite corner of the peninsula, most people do not have a beast to carry them for miles, stranger. His playful tone suddenly gets worried. Or did their struggles with meat get so grim that they ever consider such a dangerous trip? He takes a deep breath and leans back. I cannot force beasts to jump under one's blade. The forest will not trust me anymore. Okay, looking for a job? I believe your goodwill, and I'm in need of your help. He gestures for you to follow him to the pond. It is not a dangerous task, but one that I think I can accomplish by myself, and my spells are not enough to ask animals to fetch for me. He speaks very slowly. You've already talked to Photios from Gale Rocks. He's in my debt, and I want to collect what's mine. You ask him about his debt, but he doesn't look at you. He points at a shiny large fish with orange and golden scales that's swimming just nearby. This gorgeous creature is an empress carp, one of the few animals that will thrive in the seas and in the lakes. You don't know where the man found the large worm that he now drops in the water feeding his pet. Ask for a male empress carp, but beware. I need it alive so it can mate with the one I have. He stands up and approaches you. I do not sleep on dragon's bones, but the pneuma is in my blood. I will use some of it to heal your wounds, though more than that, that's fair. Well, that's nice. Alright, I agree to that. So that's good. What about entering the cavern? Why would I allow a stranger to do such a thing? Alright, so that's a lot of chatting. Alright, so we now know a little bit more about the Beholder. We're already actually blocked out of a bunch of stuff. Exciting. Well, let's go to the ruins, and I think we'll make our way to the east, I need to get both of my fish traps. That may be worth my time to kind of pass time a little bit and do things next. And I don't know if I need to go to the secluded residence or not, but let's start with the ruins. Okay, it's been 4 days since the fish trap. Did we have any luck? Oh, we got 2 fish. You pull the rope and see 2 plopping fish inside. You prepare your axe, then open the lid and reach for your catch. You stun the animals one by one. You should eat them soon before they spoil. Cool. I could be bartered for or sold. So that's exciting. Let's take the fish trap back. All right. I don't think we're going to wash ourselves at the river. I don't remember if we were able to get into the north gate. I need to see what's on the other side of the northern gate if I want to open it. Or you can explore the northeast part of the village or the village square, the southeast part of the village. This feels like a quick save time. We're not doing total Iron Man stuff here, so this is fine. So let's look at the northern gate. The paths here are almost reclaimed by grasses. To your east and west, you see shadowy alleys behind damaged buildings. There's a nearby tree. I can look in the well, or I want to open the gate. It may take a couple of hours, especially without proper tools to help you, so we don't have enough vitality to do that. What about the tree? You don't find anything worth picking. Its half-dead quinches have maggots crawling under you in a tree. You wonder what part of this meal is more tempting of the bark-winged birds sitting among the branches, the flesh of the fruits or the worms. Quinches are rarely eaten without having a chance to blet. You have to safely guess they were meant to be dried or to add taste to cookies or hard drinks. After a few moments, you realize that the bottom part of the tree just above the ground is partially charged. Someone must have opposed a torch here, but the wet wood didn't burst into flames. What about the well? It's filled up with soil and you find nothing of interest. So let's go somewhere else. Let's try the northeast part. Oh wow, we actually revealed more of the map. The debris are partially moved outside and destroyed houses, but you find nothing of value. I'm just trying to watch the time. The table cupboards and shelves and bits and pieces were carefully ransacked. Wildly growing vegetables and herbs are the only remains of an abandoned gardens. You spot fresh human footprints at the entrance of the low tree, most of which lead to and from the center of the village. You notice a set of simple tools leaned against a pile of rubble. A wooden spade and a shovel, a pointed stick, a hoe, and a bone and a head, and a stone axe. All of them are too old and too awkward to bother with transporting them around. But you'll know where to find them if you need them in the future. Good to know. Okay, your stomach makes you want to let out a painful groan, so I was wondering when the stench will be getting here again. Let's look at the southeast part of the village. In the main square, there's some buildings that I don't want to screw with here, but let's see if we can paint the map here. You find a small backyard. The ground is beaten, the grass grows only right next to the buildings. It would have been a fair spot to train dancers and fighters. The stakes of the palisade are covered with playful carvings left by children who are portraying monsters, weapons, and humans. The rubble has been pushed into the corners of the houses. The furniture is broken, but you find something of use in one of the pies. A slightly rusty piece of steel. Once you pull it out, you realize it's a quarrel for a crossbow, still usable. Yay! So here we go. Once again, our vitality is not good enough to keep going. The closer you are to the village and the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices, oh, I hate that feeling. Hit your mouth, your forehead hurts, you start to stumble. Soto pokes you with his nose, so let's walk away from the walls. Leaning against your mount, you go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clear. It may be better to leave or at least stay away from the village for the rest of the day. That's true. So we will need to seek shelter soon. Let's go ahead. We can't travel to our other fish trap before nightfall. And we've been to the dolmen. Let's go to good old Pelt, since it doesn't look like we can travel north from there. Alright, the armor's nowhere in sight. It's near the end of the day. Let's go to the guards. We could throw some dice. I'm too tired to throw axes. That's fun. Okay, let's throw some dice. Surely, but we're doing it the right way. All 10 rounds, so it's going to take us half an hour. So that's fine. 4 players, each one bets a coin, winner takes all. Still it in? Yes. The game is new to you, but is in no way baffling. 4 people can play at once. The wooden dice are long, with only 4 dotted faces. Every time someone wins a round, they get a point, and the person with the most points at the end of the game wins all the coins. As you play, you don't feel like you've had much control over the results. In just a few minutes, you get 2 points, which are now represented by smooth pebbles. You don't really know how you got them. Either you don't get the strategy or it's just pure luck. It makes me wonder if I wasn't a fighter, but something else that I could be a little better at this game. So let's see how lucky I am. We lost a coin. As time goes by, filled with light-hearted jokes and chit-chat, your score is the lowest. Sweet. Okay, so throwing axes is our moneymaker here. You move a dragon bone to the bold, quiet man with wide nostrils who has the grin of a wolf after the table and chairs are moved back to the building. Dalit asks if she can help you with something. So we found Quintus somewhere. You explain the difficult situation he finds himself in, putting your emphasis on his wounds and food issues. Listening to your conversation, the nearby guards surround you, forming a circle together with the boar, and ask you if Quintus is in one piece. Your tale causes attention to give way to jokes. He's so scared of the wrath of the herds that he'll sooner be eaten his bloody crossbow than learn how to use it, says the older woman. Let's give the poor guy a break, Dalit interrupts, which is not welcomed by the one-eyed man, who comments that he's not even here. After another minute, she grins at you. Thanks for telling us. We'll change some plans and get in touch with them during our next trip. Come on. Not that, says the same man chirps in, but he quiets down under the redhead stare. So, about the goblins, I don't have 10 dragons, especially since I lost one. I haven't fully explored the ruins because there's buildings. Wild creatures, 15 dragons. We don't have that, but we were working towards it. Alright. Just a moment, she runs up to you, cutting your way with her wide grin. Want to help us out? I spoke with our boss, and I kind of need a rider. What do you need? We could use another pair of hands. Panda hands. Someone who knows their way around the woods. So help me find a better soul. There are 2 people I've heard who would like to join us. Erastos from Hallersdale and Cassia from Gale Rocks. I think I've met both of them. Okay, maybe not Gale Rocks. But I know I can type for Cassia now. She rubs the side of her board, then pushes them away gently. The thing is, we already have hunters who used to live in these places, and they told me they ain't too eager to welcome them here. I'd like for you to speak with them both and ask the folks from their tribes about them. Before I make a decision of who I should invite, I need to be sure they can handle the job. So, let's see here. Tell me about Erastos, a trapper. A few months ago, he told a passing-by caravan he wanted to leave his home and asked them to bring us this message. One of his past neighbors told he remembers Erastos as a weak, quiet boy. I ain't sure he knows how to fight, but we'd rather use traps anyway. About Cassia. She mentioned to Asterion she'd like to come here. She's a guard, but I've heard she's more of a talker than a fighter. Gale Rocks is so far away I'd prefer not to travel there, but if she's the better choice, I may have no other option. What about Quintus? Your question sparks playful comments on her companions. He's a great friend, she admits, but he can't be trusted with more delicate tasks. When possible, we'd rather avoid using muscles alone. What matters most is getting out of trouble with as few scratches as possible. Let me ask what's in for me. Coins, duh, she giggles. How about 5? Ooh, I'll give you a few more if you amaze me with the news you bring. Any tips on how to handle this? She glances at you. Ask as many people as you can. In small villages, you can never know who sleeps with who. Until you learn anything, so recruiting a hunter, that's good. And it's late, and we're gonna go to the inn. The winders, I can't talk. The winders are open. Let's see what we got here. I love this phrase here. Finally, he nods at you. Someone with a coin shows up. So, do I have anything you'd like to buy? We have raw fish. Sell me 2 at once and I'll give you a coin. That's fine. We could ask for leftovers. Not today, maybe tomorrow. We're fine on food. Show me your wares. Food rations for 1. We have 4. Elk fur, very classy. So, let's tell him the news here. Sad news from old Pagos. The villagers are stricken by a plague. He sighs and puts his muscles and arm on his head. Then asks you about the state of the village and the symptoms you know of. After a short conversation, he observes the counter. I was planning to get in touch with those stonecutters. Thank you for bringing the news. Let's hope they can make it until spring. So, about Glaucia's band. He freezes, observing your hand silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Hallersdale. So we don't have anything else yet. All right, well, I think that's going to be it. I think it's sleepy time. Once again, we're not very vital. We can't travel too many other places. The Southern Crossroads is not a good place to go. So we're just going to go ahead and sleep and maybe throw some axes in the morning to win some money. So we can pay 1 rent. Our 2 fish have paid for us to do this. So comfy bed with a clean blanket, and we will... Oh my god, we get a wash tub? Yes! Sounds good. Oh, we actually don't even lose food. Because we get a large breakfast. Oh, what a... Pelts of the North is fantastic. Your shivers wake you up. You hear hunters leaving the building. You look through the window, but the fog is so dense you hardly see the wall around you. Still, they are being patrolled by the night shift, which places torches and carries lanterns. Fogs tend to get more common in late summer, but the tribe of the Dragonwoods often see them as a bad sign. The wild spirits they carry are believed to impact both visible and invisible, and not in ways that help humankind. If there are any undead in these woods, the fog will strengthen them. Oh good, it's just like the last spell. You hear a thunderous roar. You raise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall, trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see a large furry paws placed on top of the walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. I know I'm trying to rest my vitality and stuff, but I should really help them. Alright, you look for your Gabson and blade, still a bit foggy in your thoughts, and once you find them, you struggle to get inside the jacket. As your habits kick in, you see the innkeeper right in front of you holding a candle. You're a guest. Stay here, he says without a shadow of hesitation. My team has no time to worry about outsiders. Just after his words, you hear cheerful laughter from the wall. Judging by the way they point their fingers and lower their weapons, the beast is fleeing. So, 2 options here. If I'd been there, maybe we would have caught it. But truth be told, people don't need my help all the time. And just like that, we are a little bit better off. So that's going to do it for this one. This is Asher, and we have 2 vitality now. We're so fresh and so relatively clean. I've got some options for what I want to do, but I think it's going to start with going to the fallen tree, getting stuff here, maybe talking over here. I still have some places I need to look at. And it looks like we've done a lot of what we can do so far. We can't really clear the rock slide. We can try to work on clearing this road a little bit. And there's some places that I haven't been to yet, especially trying to cross the woods, and I want to do that at the beginning of the day. This is technically the beginning of the day, but it's going to be for another time. So I'll give it a little bit of a think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I do need to go outside. Let's approach the guards. Let's win some axe throwing. I'm ready when you are. And we get 3 coins, just like that. Easy time. So let's walk away again. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will do this again soon. So many things I've got to do. It's a lot of plates I'm spinning right now in Roadwarden, but that's part of the fun. You all take care.